This is Unspoiled Special Edition, covering Stranger Things Season 1, Episode 7, The Bathtub. In this episode, a much less spooky title than we've had in the past. Is it about a killer bathtub that eats people? No, it's still about a crazy girl who saves a kid who's about to jump off a fucking cliff. Welcome to Unspoiled Special Edition.
I love her so much.
Was that the best?
Love it so much. I want to give her so many hugs.
Mm-hmm.
I love Winona with her just being all mommy.
Yes.
She's never had that before, and I'm like, oh, she gets all the hugs. She deserves every hug.
Yeah. This episode just has so many like great 11 moments, and I am. I can't wait for the last episode.
Me too. And I'm gonna watch it this afternoon, and I'm gonna be like, "Hey, kids, leave me alone. I'm gonna sit here and watch this."
Texted me after you finished this episode. You were like, "They ended it there. That's not fair."
That ending, what? That is like that's the most unfair cliffhanger ending ever. Like, it's not even. It's barely a cliffhanger. It's so intense. It's just like, and the monster attacks, and we're done. And
Bye-bye.
I'm like,
see you later.
What? Yeah, no, that's just mean. It's not like one of those things where it's like the end of a chapter at Harry Potter or like the Da Vinci Code where they just leave like enough hanging that you're like, all right, I guess I need to go on to the next chapter. It's more like, what? What?
That's how I felt during certain episodes of Agent Carter. So now you know how I feel.
Okay. All right,
they'll just end, and I'm just like, but that wasn't even a stopping point. What are you doing? Yeah.
But like, Peggy isn't getting attacked by a crazy monster in an alternate dimension.
I mean, it's our dimension, but she is getting attacked by a crazy monster.
That's
called patriarchy.
Yeah, not so much of that in this show. What I love about this episode, too, is, like, finally everybody gets together.
Yep.
And then they kind of all splinter off again because Nancy's not that smart. But, like, it was just so nice to see everybody working together and for the kids to see, like, adults who believed them. Mm-hmm. I just loved it. So, yeah, I really liked this episode quite a bit.
Yay. Yeah, in terms of like level of satisfaction, this one definitely ranks really high. So it starts off with the terrified Lucas getting on the walkie-talkie and letting Mike and Dustin know that there is somebody coming to their house that they know about 11, that they're like, possibly, I think he says something about like power company or something.
I think he says they're having trouble understanding what he's saying because he's far enough out of range that they have trouble. It takes them a while before they're like, bad men, bad men, bad men.
Yeah.
And of course, he totally cockblocks Mike here too, because Mike's about to like put the moves on 11 for a second, and then everything kind of goes to shit. But I was like, oh, Mike.
And his mom. This is the most bewildering thing to me. His mom is on the phone. She's mad at him for interrupting because, sure. And then he's acting panicked, asking if she asked for repairs. Dustin comes in and in real dramatic fashion is like, we've got to go now. And his mother is just like, Mike, what's going on? Even though they're like sprinting out the door as she's saying this. And she doesn't try and follow and she doesn't try and stop them. She just wants like... This is the most passive parenting.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
She's like, oh, okay, I guess they're up to something again. Right? I'm like, why are you completely unable to, like, read your children's cues at all whatsoever and respond to their feelings? It's not like they're hiding things from you even. Like,
Yeah, they
I mean,
don't feel a need to put in the effort to hide because they know she's not going to do anything.
no, like she finally goes downstairs and like there's just like a fort there. Obviously, somebody's been sleeping in, and she just hasn't. She's like, it doesn't matter what he's doing downstairs. I'm sure it's fine.
Right?
And his dad, of course. Well, we can talk more about his dad when we get a little bit further
Oh
into the
my
episode. But him
God.
just being like, Mike with a girl.
This guy
Guys,
playing his dad is like the unsung hero actor of this
so
show.
good.
I
Oh,
can't get over him. Um,
oh,
so yeah, they get on their bikes. They are fleeing. They take a few like cuts through like parks and things like this.
backyards. Yeah.
Yeah. And it really feels for a Oh, and there's a couple girls playing a clapping game at the
Uh-huh.
park, which I loved because I used to totally do that. I was
Oh,
the
sure.
queen of clapping games. I was really good at them.
Hmm.
Um, and they finally think that they've lost them, and then they come out from around the corner. Totally haven't. You guys didn't
Uh,
go that far. Um, and this is when they get cut off from the front, and 11 uses her mind powers to flip that fucking van
uh-huh.
up into the air over their heads, crashes down, and blocks the way for the other vans.
It was so great.
Really awesome.
And I love it because it's an obvious play on the ET scene
Hmm.
where he makes the bikes fly.
Right.
And instead, this show's like, no, fuck it. We're flipping the van.
Yeah.
Just kill whoever's driving that van.
Yep.
Fuck it.
That's what I like because, obviously this show is loaded with references and homages to stuff. But I like that they take everything and just make it a little bit darker and more adult. You know,
Right.
they're like, I mean, you could make them fly if you want to, I guess, but we're gonna like murder people by snapping their necks, so that's fine
Yeah,
too.
we'll do that instead. And then Matthew Modine comes like stalking out,
Yep.
and stares her down.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, he's got that really like gross smile on his face after she flips the van because he's like, I don't care about the drivers. I'm just really excited to know that she can flip a fucking van.
Yeah.
Like this is all a very successful demonstration of what she's been meant to be this whole time, which is a weapon.
Yeah.
Um, so they stop in this like abandoned junkyard basically that's got a bunch of like an old bus and cars and stuff. And Lucas apologizes to 11.
Oh,
And it's really sweet. He's
yeah,
like,
it really
everything I
is.
said about you being a traitor and everything, I'm sorry. And she says, friends don't lie, I'm sorry too. And I was like,
Oh,
aw, you guys.
super cute. And then Mike shakes his hand to
Mm-hmm.
apologize too, and they're all besties again. Yay!
Yay!
And then they have to hide in the bus because the
Yes.
helicopter is out looking for them. Jesus Christ!
Right? Yeah,
So
so
they
they
have
have
to
they
hide their bikes and
they
get in the bus.
I thought it was really smart that they hid their bikes. Like, I don't know at their age if it would have even occurred to me. I don't think that I would have been smart enough when I was a kid to like even realize that my bike would give me away. The fact
Yeah,
that they
these.
think to hide them, I was like, good on you guys.
Yeah, they're on top of things, and they didn't even like really communicate with each other to do it. They were all just like, "All right,
Hmm.
ditch them."
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like to think that they learned this from D&D. Like that they left something out one time in gameplay and the
Yeah.
monster found them because of it and they was like, not doing that again.
They have learned all their life skills from D&D. Let's be
I
honest.
think that's totally valid. I learned all of my life skills from like weird books about orphans from Britain. So, I think hopefully theirs will come in handy more
Yeah,
often than mine.
sure.
Mine made me very suspicious of adults from a very young age.
God. Why were books all about orphans? Why was that such a thing?
Right? I don't know. I think it was because when they were orphans, it gave them less
They
oversight.
were free to go do whatever, or
Yeah.
else they were put in awful orphanages
Hmm.
with, terrible antagonists who ran the orphanages, and that always had some drama.
Yep.
Anyway, off topic.
Um,
Um, so they all run onto the bus to hide.
yes. And we go from there, where they're camped out, to Jonathan and Nancy at the station. and they have found all of Jonathan's stuff in the trunk. And
Right.
they're like, what the fuck? And he says, you wouldn't believe me, to Hopper, who is like, why don't you give me a try? And
Oh, well, you skipped the part where it doesn't Hopper. No, wait, I guess I'm switching it with what happens later. Hopper comes running in and Joyce starts like screaming about letting him go,
oh,
right?
yeah, undo his, I can't do
Yeah,
that. He assaulted an officer. Oh, this guy is
right.
such a fucking twat. I hate
I
him.
know, he really is such a twerp. But yeah, I love that. Jonathan being like, you wouldn't believe me, and Hopper's like, try
Yep.
me. It was so nice knowing that he meant it. He
Hmm.
legit. It wasn't just like an authority figure being like, well, just tell me. Maybe I'll like. He's like, I'm gonna believe you. Whatever
Yeah.
weird shit you're about to say, I'm totally gonna believe you. Which is so great.
Yeah, basically, like, nothing is going to be weirder than that fake stuffed body that I found in the morgue. So
Yeah,
let's
you're
go
way
ahead
down the
with
list.
it. um, so from there, we briefly go back to Mike's house. His mother has gone down into the basement and finally noticed the little camp out area for 11. She's been
Right.
here for like 3 days, I'm getting the impression, and this mother just never noticed that there was somebody hiding out in her basement.
Mm-hmm.
And as she's like picking up a piece of hair that fell from the wig,
Mm-hmm.
she there's a knock on the door, and her husband. All right, okay, hold your horses. All right, I'm coming. I'm coming. Yeah. He's like asleep. I,
Yeah, basically. He kind of sleepwalks through life, I think, this
yep.
dude.
Um,
Uh, he has never felt an actual passionate emotion in his entire life,
yeah, like trying to
other
think
than
of this guy
annoyance.
having sex. I'm just like, it makes me
Blah.
makes me think of when Harry met Sally, and she's like, just so you know, I've had plenty of good sex, and he's like, with who? And
With
she says,
Sheldon.
Shell something, and he's like, Sheldon, Sheldon, no, humpin' and pumpin' is not Sheldon's strong suit. It's the name. Do me,
To be
Sheldon,
Sheldon.
ride me, baby, Sheldon. Give it to me, Sheldon. It doesn't work. I firmly believe this man's name is Sheldon.
He's Sheldon. I don't think they've given him a name, so
I don't
Sheldon
think
works.
so. Yeah.
I like it.
Um,
Do me, big Sheldon. Oh, I love it. So it's that creepy lady again.
hmm.
Like, people, stop letting her in.
She's not putting
That's
on the faintest bit of like,
Oh
I'm
no.
friendly in this moment. Yeah.
No. They are straight up feds right now.
Yep. And they're going through
And
all their stuff, looking through all their property, like, and they won't tell her anything.
mm-hmm.
Um, and it's just a really like, you know, it's one of those moments that feels so it feel these are people who are trying to be good for the cops,
Mm-hmm.
whereas other people may not have let them in at all,
Right.
depending on the situation they were in. But
Right.
yeah, this is a distinctly like middle class reaction because not
Yeah.
only
Nobody's showing them a warrant. They're
no,
just like
they just flash
busting
a
in. Like,
badge.
yeah.
Um, and she sits down with them, the evil woman. We need a name for her. How about Angela?
Yeah, she seems like an Angela. Not,
Um,
which is not to offend other Angelas I know who are perfectly nice, but I think it's because she reminds me a little bit of Angela from The Office. That makes sense.
oh, okay, yeah, I see that.
It's kind of this like pinched face and bitchy demeanor.
Yeah,
So Angela, yeah.
and the fact that Karen is rightfully flipping out about this, Angela just is like, oh God, and hands her off because she just doesn't want to deal with this.
Right.
So, the father, him having a girl in the house, there's no way she'd be sleeping here and we didn't know it. Oh my
He's
God.
so ridiculous. Yeah.
Um,
He totally zoned out. And of course, everything they say is making alarm bells go off
mhm.
for Karen. But she is
She's in
trying
this
her
alone.
yeah.
Like,
Because she knows he's not helping with
hmm.
this at all. but she knows enough to be like, I don't feel like I should be telling these people everything.
Yeah.
And then creepy fucking Matthew Modine sits down slithers on like a oily snake
Oh,
onto that
he's such a
chair.
Slytherin. Good call.
Oh God. So this is the scene that made me go on Facebook and flip out because
Mm-hmm.
he's like, I just need you to trust me.
Yep.
Do you trust me? And I was like, no.
Yep.
Why would you trust this man? And they're playing seriously the creepiest music behind him when he says that. It's like
Yep.
the best sound score cue of all time. It literally just sounds like serial killer music.
Yep.
Should be playing behind Buffalo Bill or something. And I'm like, why? Don't trust this man. Like, I know you can't hear the music, but seriously. There's nothing about his demeanor that screams, trust me, this guy. Like, not at all. And so she just kind of finally weakly nods her head. And I'm like, oh, Karen.
Because what's she going to do? Say no?
Yeah, I mean, I know. Yeah, she could.
Why?
She'd die,
What good,
probably. But,
what good does that do? If she doesn't trust him, she doesn't have to tell him she doesn't trust him. She can just not trust him and just nod anyway. Make it easier on herself.
She clearly tells them something because they're able to track him down.
Yeah.
So, God damn it, Karen.
Yeah.
Just mom fail. Mom fail across the board. Mom fail marrying that dude in the first place.
Oh, that guy is the worst.
Where's their toddler during all this, by the way?
Yeah, let's say that she's with the sitter, I guess?
Okay,
she's
a daycare.
I don't know.
She's a daycare she goes to for some reason, even though she's got a stay-at-home mom.
Right.
Makes sense. Why not? Yeah. Ugh.
But actually,
Okay.
no, you know what? Her mom is holding her when they're going through the stuff.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she's bouncing her on her hip when they're and then when they sit down at the table, she's not there, so they probably put her in a room or something. But yeah.
Realistically, there should be a screaming child in the background of this scene somewhere. Just saying. Having had children that age, this child should be making a giant nuisance of herself during all of this, but I'll let it go because it's not important.
And
realism is not necessarily what they're going for on the show, so it's fine.
I just really like this like weird, description is the word I keep going to, but it really feels like that to me, of a family that is so they have the nice house, they have dinner together, like they're doing everything you're supposed to do to be a close family, and yet they're also disconnected from each other, that it's crazy that they even live in the same house.
Yep.
And her husband is sitting right next to her, and you can tell how alone she feels and how little he grasps of any of this, and she's not planning on telling him, is the other thing. She found this like camp thing in the basement with the fucking hairs in it, and I don't think she was ever going to say anything to him about it.
Is this the part where the dad says what happened to her hair?
Yeah.
Is it the dad who says that?
Yep.
I'd love that that's what he fixated on.
Yep.
Why does this girl have no hair?
And then what did she do? Oh my God, is she Russian?
Oh God, he's just awful.
Yep.
And the bit later where he's about, we'll leave it until we get to it. But he has like the best line in the whole episode. No, he has the second best line in the whole episode.
But yeah, I don't know. There's something about this that really hits home for me. I think because my parents were just very disconnected from each other, both because of the religious divide and that they spoke different languages. My dad spoke okay English, but it was still, a problem sometimes to communicate with him. And this weird thing, like, still existing between people who speak the same language and who have been together for so long. It's just, I love it in contrast to the very next scene where Joyce is talking to Jonathan about how he's acting like he's in this alone, and he's not. And it's just, that is a connected family. She knows what's going on with him. She is really upset that he didn't come to her. She's been very open about all the crazy shit that's happening, even though he didn't believe her. She still told him. Like, it's just a totally different way of relating to each other. And the way that she gives him that hug in the hall and is like, you are not alone. It's just so sweet. I love it.
Yeah. And I love it because it's such a, it relates so much to when her ex-husband comes back
Mm-hmm.
and criticizes her parenting,
Mm-hmm.
because, she lost one of the kids. And she's like, yeah, but I was here and I
Mm-hmm.
know these kids. Like, she knows her children
Mm-hmm.
so well. She gets them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's really lovely. I mean, basically we just get to see her being nuts this whole show, but for good reason.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me kind of want to know what she looked like on a day-to-day basis. I'm sure she was still super frazzled because she's busy and broke,
Mm-hmm.
but still obviously so emotionally connected to these children.
Yeah.
I love it. She's a woman with so much love to give. Like, she's
She
just got
is.
such a big heart. I love it.
Uh,
Winona really hits great notes in this episode.
yeah, definitely.
I
Yeah.
would say this is probably the best work she's done is in this episode because she's able to show a
Range.
variation. Like, she's able to chill out when she needs to for Eleven's sake.
Right.
I like being able to see her do that.
Um, so yeah, back there's there's this fucking mom with the bully kid who is your officer is trying to humiliate my son.
Oh, god damn it. Okay, you're
Did
back.
you lose me?
I
Okay.
did, but you're back now. Okay.
So Hopper is not interested in dealing with this fucking thing. She's, the officer, she's like, this girl broke my son's arm. And he's like, little girl, chief. And she's like, that tone. Did you hear that tone? Oh my God. This actress is there for 2 minutes and she is excellent.
Yeah.
Um, and
They really do show a nice variety of the different mom types.
mhm, that's true. Yeah.
Uh,
And it makes so much sense why he would be such a bully because she obviously is like, like standing up for him isn't even the right word. She's like speaking for him.
for
She
him,
is,
yeah.
yeah,
He's just been over coddled his entire
yeah.
life by this woman. Yeah. Who's trying her best but is legitimately standing up for her son, who is too embarrassed and too freaked out by the whole thing.
Hmm.
I mean, what are you supposed to say?
Right.
But he does. He says it.
Yeah,
That
he does. I was kind of impressed that he did. The chief like is looking at him so intently, and as soon as he hears she had no hair, he like whips around and is like,
yeah,
what now?"
yeah.
So yeah, she can make you fly, make you piss yourself, to which the other cop
Oh,
is like, "What?"
oh, Turk's reaction there. I love it. I still am just gonna always think of him as Turk. But
Oh.
he has the biggest smile on his face. He's like, "You pissed yourself, loser." I'm like, dude, you're like 45. Like, pull
Oh.
your shit together.
And she calls them deputies, and the other guy's like, "Well, actually, officers."
Officers. Uh huh.
And that reminded me of the other show that you said that this was referencing, Twin Peaks, was it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they're deputies in that, and I was like, I wonder if
Yeah.
they're specifically doing that to be like, well, not exactly the
Oh,
same guys, but we know what
right.
you're thinking.
Right.
Um,
Uh,
so we go from there to a pretty interesting scene with Steve and his shitbag friends. What do you think of this?
uh, I I don't I like the change in Steve. I just don't know if I buy it though. It just seemed like, I guess, getting his head slammed into the pavement might have flipped a switch, to be like, hey, these people are awful and they did an awful thing to a person I care about and I really hurt her. And I guess,
It's like that's
if
interesting.
they want me to buy it, then I'll buy it. But it seemed kind of sudden.
I find like that's interesting to me because I didn't find it sudden at all. I felt like the whole time that we've seen him with his friends, it's been consistently him trying to calm them down and
Oh,
stop
I
him.
don't
You know what I
disagree
mean?
with
Like,
that.
um,
Uh, he does try to temper their worst instincts, but this is the first time where he really tells them that they've gone way too far.
Mm-hmm.
And oh god, they're awful.
They're so awful. They're imitating Jonathan punching him, and then I bet that's the look he had on his face when he killed his brother. Um, and then the girl is like, "Oh, I'm wondering what he looks like when he's screwing Nancy." And that is he like snaps and is
Yeah.
just like, "You know what? What the fuck, guys?"
Yeah.
It's almost like he had been letting it wash over him,
Right.
all the shit they had been saying, and then like he suddenly heard it, like really
Yeah.
heard it, and was like,
Yeah.
wait,
You are awful. You are awful human
yep,
beings. Why am I associating with you? And then Freckleface asshole gets up in his face.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that
and
was
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Steve's not winning that fight, so good
no
thing that he did not try and take that on because he was just gonna get his ass kicked for a second time that day.
again. Yeah.
Yep, because that kid looks strong as hell. Um,
Yeah, that kid's not messing around. Like I said the last time we recorded, Steve, I don't get the sense Steve's the sort of guy who's been in a lot of fights.
no, definitely
This
not.
is a guy, rich preppy asshole who's never had to do anything like that.
Yeah, he's been
Not
able to
exactly.
charm his way out of everything.
Yeah, so he can like throw one punch and then he's pretty much done. That's what we saw in this
Oh,
fight with
bless.
him. He's like,
Um,
yeah, I'm strong. Oh, but shit, I have no follow up. Wait, I need to have reflexes? Ah, crap. Strategy? Nope. One punch and I'm done. No. Whoops.
and it's been established in a lot of like the reaction shots and stuff of Steve that he really does like Nancy. Like it's
Oh,
almost a surprise to him how
yeah.
much he likes her.
Exactly. That's a good way of describing it. That he did not intend to when this whole thing started.
Yeah. And the fact that they keep on talking about her the way that they do, when he obviously likes her, they're just treating her like, well, she's just another flash in the pan and you're going to be moving on.
Right.
Which initially he's like, well, they're probably right, whatever. And then as he starts to get more and more genuinely like invested and hurt,
Right.
them being so cavalier about it is what's,
Yeah. What's wearing on him and
yeah,
finally makes him snap at them, which thank God.
right? Somebody had to.
Yeah.
Not that it sinks in at all, because of course it
Oh
doesn't. But
no. Because they're like sociopath narcissists,
yep.
they're nothing's gonna change that. Ugh, they're awful.
And one day they're gonna have children.
Yay! Do you ever get like that? Like, think about the fact that people who are awful to you and are clearly, if not full on sociopaths and awfully close,
Just cruel
now are
people.
adults and, just, the biggest assholes, are now adults with their own children that they're raising.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I just, sometimes that happens and I'm like, I need to assume that that was just their coping mechanism when they were in middle school or high school or whatever, and they grew up and grew out of it and are now sensible, normal human beings with a moral code and will
Yeah.
raise their children better to behave better than they did. Uh, uh, I just gotta keep my fingers crossed for that because
Right.
otherwise I can't move on with my day.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like everybody wasn't mean to somebody at some point as a kid. You just kind of have to. It's part of being on the awful social ladder that
Right.
exists. But there were certain people that were clearly,
Mm-hmm.
head and shoulders above and just different in the way that they did stuff. Like being mean wasn't a coping mechanism for them. They're just mean people.
Right.
Those people exist.
Yeah, definitely. I have
So
to say that, like,
sociopaths don't pop up as adults. They're there from the beginning.
yes. I have to say that I really can, I think I can very honestly say, though, that I was not mean to anybody. Like, there were times where I was inconsiderate,
Yeah.
but I don't think I was ever mean. The most I can say is that I avoided people
Right.
because they were kind of pariahs, and I knew that hanging out with them was not only was it gonna bring down my social capital, but they were pariahs because they were legit strange people. And I
Yeah.
didn't want to hang out with them. And I knew that they needed a friend, but I just wasn't going to be that person. So I
Yeah.
avoided them, which you might be
Yeah.
able to argue is mean. But it was just, you gotta pick who you want to be comfortable around your friends. And these are not people I was comfortable around. So,
So that's fair. That's not even like a social ladder sort of thing. And I don't think it's necessarily something you're conscious of. Like you don't
mhm,
sit there and think, well, I can't be friends with that person because they're one of like the two people weirder than me in this entire
right.
school. But it's such a mess trying to
Mhm,
deal with that sort of stuff. And it's always interesting to me how the bullies fit into things. Like the bully here, this awful kid who held a knife to Dustin,
mhm,
he still has some humanity to him,
yeah.
And that's also a thing that happens in Freaks and Geeks. It's very closely parallels. There's a bully that they manage to sort of humanize a little bit halfway through the series. And you're just kind of like, how does he end up being a bully? He had to
Mhm,
find a niche, and that's what it was.
mhm,
And maybe this event will be the thing to make him realize that he was taking things too far,
mhm.
because he seems really genuinely upset, and not like angry, pissed off upset, like frightened,
Yeah.
which for a good reason.
He got his arm broken by her mind.
But
Yeah. He saw a guy
so
fly through the air.
yeah, he may be shocked back into being a somewhat decent human being.
Maybe
Fingers crossed.
like he went through the Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. He has
um
learned lessons.
so yeah, they basically just face off and Steve gets in his car and drives away as his friend just yells after him, "Yeah, run away, that's what you do." Um yeah, but this kid with his freckly face. Oh man, they cast him real well. He
Oh
just
yeah.
definitely looks like the guy that would have been such a douche in high school.
Yeah. And him getting up in Steve's face like that, he was legit scary. I was like,
hmm
oh man. This
Yeah.
like the whole time he's sort of been a sidekick, and then for him to suddenly have this weird alpha moment,
hmm
I was like, no.
Yeah.
Don't
That's a good way to say that alpha moment because it's like you think that you can dictate the way that this group is going to behave. No, sir.
Yeah.
We've been letting you be a sad sack, and frankly, we're bored now.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, good call. So, back in the car with Joyce and Hopper and Nancy and Jonathan, they are all talking about how to find Mike because there is obviously some shit going on,
Right.
and they they go back to Joyce's house. I love Nancy's reaction when she sees all of the lights strung up everywhere.
It's so good.
Oh, she just stops dead for a second and is just like, "What?
What?
What?" Um, and they go get the walkie-talkie and try and get in touch. And at first, Mike is so paranoid that this is all a trap, that the bad people got to Nancy, and that they're trying to, get to him through her. And finally, Hopper gets on and is like, dude, we want to help you. We know what's happening and we can protect you, but you need to tell us where you are. And he almost doesn't answer.
And
But
I love because Dustin's sitting there going, "It's Lando Calrissian.
oh my
Don't
God.
trust him."
Oh my God. Owen was so delighted. You should have seen him.
Because
When,
he says it twice. Like the first time he's like, "It's Lando Calrissian. Don't trust him," and then the second time around, he just looks at the walkie-talkie and goes, "Lando Calrissian."
yep.
like, clearly, Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, I don't feel good about this. I don't feel good about this. Oh my God. Dustin, why are you so fantastic? Um,
We haven't
so
even gotten to the best part of Dustin yet in this whole episode, which I'm so
right?
excited for. Oh, Dustin. So
Um,
yeah, so Mike finally answers. They're all
yes.
sitting there and they're like, "Okay, do you have any more ideas?" And then all of a sudden the walkie-talkie goes off and he
Yep.
says that he's there.
And Steve goes to the movie theater and offers to help get the spray paint off of the what's the word?
Marquis.
Marquis, thank you. And the guy's like, "Did you have something to do with this?" And Steve's just like, "I just want to help." Like he's not
Just
prepared to say that.
uh,
Um,
so it's a cute little scene. This is Steve trying to repent.
yeah. Um, so the bad guys are closing in on the bus, and it feels like they're going to reach our people sooner than the good guys. And then you just hear a series of thwaps, basically. And then Hopper pokes his head in and is just like,
All
"Let's
right, let's.
go. Let's go." And he just like screams at them because they're dead still for a second.
Well, I mean, those guys with the guns were super creepy, and their like three-piece suits and everything. I was
Hmm.
like, ah, it was yeah. But did you feel cheated out of getting to see some good Hopper punchy time,
I didn't. I
or were,
actually
were
kind
you
of liked that.
satisfied with the implied Hopper punching?
I really like just you just hear ah, ah.
Yeah, right.
Like it delighted me. I just enjoyed it so much. It felt like a Venture Brothers moment with Brock.
Yeah. Yes.
And then we have this moment that you were talking about earlier with Mike's parents, where they're looking out the window, they're watching these, creeps finally leave their house, and she's saying, I don't like this. I don't understand what's happening. And her husband Sheldon says, "Honey, we have to trust them. This is our government. They're on our side."
Uh, oh, I laughed and laughed and laughed. I couldn't take it.
Again, this is such a
Such
white
a
middle
Sheldon,
class
such a
response.
Sheldon moment. Of
Just,
course, Sheldon would be like, well, of course our government's on our side at all
mm,
times, without question.
because
Totally looking out for us. Because, if anybody is getting looked out for in this country, it's that exact family.
exactly.
But at the same time, it's the Cold War.
Yep.
They got other shit going on. They don't really care about you. Really.
Gee. So, yeah.
Oh, so classic. Classic Sheldon.
Yep. Classic Sheldon. Oh, I hope if they do a second season that
They
he
call him
comes
Sheldon.
back and turns out to be Sheldon.
I might write to them, be like, can we name him Sheldon? I don't know if you named him and it's somewhere in the credits, but can we rename him? Because
Right?
he should
Nobody will
be Sheldon.
notice.
Nobody knows what his name is. He's Sheldon.
Sheldon Wheeler,
I
CPA.
love it. It's pretty, yeah. Oh, totally CPA. No question. Oh, man. If anyone was ever a CPA, it's Sheldon Wheeler. Again, no offense to other CPAs, but you know what we're talking about. Oh, Lord.
um. Anyway, so who knew? Like this is what I think makes the show so good is that throwaway characters like this who shouldn't matter are so entertaining.
Yes.
Um. And yeah, she's like, "Do you think that Nancy is involved in this with Michael?" To which he scoffs. Again, she has decent instincts, but she has fallen into the same rut as her husband of just being so passive that it's like his obliviousness has like sort of rubbed off on her.
Yeah.
Like there's still that voice in her head that's telling her the right thing, but his bland fucking mayonnaise self is like,
It's just smothered her, basically.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man.
God damn it, Sheldon.
um yeah. So we go back to the buyer's house, and they all come outside and meet the crew and 11. And Nancy's like, "Is that my dress?" Um, and you know what I didn't really realize until this moment is that it's pretty well daylight when they're at wherever they had been. And
Right.
then when they arrive at the buyer's place, it's nighttime.
Yeah.
But I guess that's fine.
Yeah.
whatever. It's not really crucial to the story, but I don't like it when Walking Dead does it because that just feels crazy.
Right.
This I'm just like I don't know exactly where they were or how far it takes to get home. It did look like it was
It could
daylight, but it
be.
was afternoon, so
Yeah.
you
It
know.
was getting late in the day. I'll buy it. It
Also,
depends on.
it's
It's
near winter,
fall. Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
days are
It's
shorter.
passable. Yeah. I'll give it a pass because they've crammed a lot of stuff into this day, so it has to be getting pretty late in the day. I mean, Mike's already walked off a cliff.
Hmm.
What else has happened this day? You sort of lose track of how much is crammed into the one day.
Right?
Like when did this day start? What episode?
I'm
It's
trying
been
to
a while.
think. Um,
Oh, the night before was when they came out of the tree.
oh, right,
So that
God.
was nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nancy, they woke up in the bed together.
Hmm.
And then I don't remember what the boys were doing. It doesn't matter. But it's been a long day.
Yeah.
They've had time to go shopping for bear traps, punch Steve in the face, sit around the police station
That's true.
all
Yeah.
day. It was late in the day. I agree. I'll go with it.
Um,
Uh,
so this is when first of all, I want to make a note that Hopper isn't looking real friendly towards 11.
no.
She's sitting there and she is very aware of him like staring at her. And when she
Mhm.
looks at him, he doesn't look away. He doesn't do the like, I'm going to be reassuring here. He really is looking at her like, what?
What are you?
What? Yeah.
Yeah. And not in a mean way, but just he knows a lot about her at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think he's simultaneously sympathetic and scared
Yes.
of her with good reason.
Yep. Um, so
Like he gets that she's a kid and it's not her fault, but she's also super dangerous.
she's very terrifying. Yes.
Yeah.
So she makes an attempt to locate Will and Barb,
Yeah.
and she can't reach them.
And she starts crying. This actress.
I know, right? She goes into the bathroom by herself to cry. And she's in there and she has this realization when she looks over at the bathtub. And this is what spurs the activity for the rest of the show, basically.
Right.
And they call up the science teacher who
Who's on
is
a date.
on a date with a super hot chick, BT Dubs. Good
Yeah,
for you,
watching-
dude.
Woohoo! Watching I'm pretty sure it's a John Carpenter movie.
Is it
Yeah.
The Blob?
I think it's The Thing.
The Thing?
I've never watched it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And he's talking
Microwaved
about the
bubblegum.
special effects that they use, which is such a great like that he knows that stuff.
Right?
Because also when you think about it, the only way, there was no internet. The way you knew that stuff about those movies is you like subscribe to horror movie fanzines.
Oh, yeah, that's
Or
fair.
like that's what this guy does in his spare time. He reads Dungeons and Dragons newsletters and fanzines about, horror movies and weird science publications. So he knows about sensory deprivation tanks. I just love that again, just a little tiny side character.
Yeah.
You can put together all these really interesting details about his life. So really into magazines about creepy special effects and hot Asian chicks.
Yeah.
Fun time for Mr. Clark.
This
Isn't that his name?
actress too looks really familiar, and I wish I could figure out where she was from. I'm sure I can look it up on IMDb at some point. But I know that I've seen her in something. I'm almost wondering. Hold on a second. Just hold on.
All right.
I'm wondering if she's the one who plays Jubilee.
No, she's too old to play Jubilee.
She looks
Jubilee's-
super young. She looks like she could be made to look young enough.
I
Yeah,
don't.
no, totally
I think
not.
the girl
She's
who
totally
played
not.
Jubilee is legit a teenager.
Is she really?
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, well, yeah, her headshots of her make her look super young. As Jubilee, she looks older, but it's probably the makeup. Um, but yeah, the headshots without makeup, she does look like basically a child. Well, then who the hell is this woman? I'm gonna
I
find
don't know.
out. Um, but yeah, he is keeping this curiosity door shut.
Oh God, why? Why are you keeping this curiosity door shut? Oh my God, Dustin,
Right?
stop. Stop. It's adorable. Especially because when he says, we want to know about sensory deprivation tanks, and he
Yes.
goes, why do you need to know how to build a sensory deprivation tank? And Dustin goes, for fun.
Fun?
And yeah,
Yeah.
and he just kind of, like, everybody just looks at him, he's like,
Right?
it's the best thing. Come on. And then the teacher's like, we'll talk about it on Monday. And Dustin says the bit about keeping curiosity doors shut. And he says it in the most plaintive, awesome, Dustin-y way possible.
Yes.
That totally hits exactly where it needs to. And Mr. Clark's like, all right, first get a kiddie pool.
And 1,500 pounds of
100 pounds of
salt.
salt. Yeah.
Oh, the best.
This is when it's good to have the sheriff on your side.
Right?
Because he can go get you some rock salt.
Um, I'm gonna sneeze. I'm sorry. Huh. Okay.
Bless you.
Linda Kang is her name. She was in Gone Girl,
Oh.
which I have not seen, so I don't know how I recognize her, but she's been in
Okay.
stuff, so there it is.
Okay.
Um,
So this is when they go on their quest to get all the equipment to set up their.
all the salt.
Yeah, they get the salt, they get hoses, and that's when Mike and Nancy have their awesome brother-sister bonding moment that
Yes.
immediately falls apart.
Yes. Oh my God, that's so good.
Yeah. From
Yeah.
now on, no more secrets. We tell each other everything. Do you have a thing for Jonathan? No. What? Do
It's
you have a
not
thing
like
for
that.
11? Yeah, right. Oh, I guess it's Mike who's more like, ew, girls, boo,
Hmm.
no. Nancy asks him about 11. And I'm like, good job telling the truth to each other,
It
guys.
lasted about, what, 2.5 seconds?
Yeah,
I
that was
think.
quality work. Wait a sibling. Good job.
Oh, it's so
Uh,
good.
it was pretty great. But at the same time, they're a cute brother and sister. I can see them actively trying to have a stronger bond in the future. Just
Hmm.
this particular question was not the one to start with
Right.
their truth-telling game.
Yeah,
Uh,
you have to know the truth yourself before you can tell it to somebody else. And I don't think that
that's true.
she even knows the truth that she like about how she feels about Jonathan yet.
No.
Um,
I think Mike has a better idea of how he feels about 11. He's just
that's true.
refusing to admit it to everybody because,
Because this is the first girl that he's ever going to have been interested in, I think.
right. Yeah.
So that's a big step to take, you know?
Yeah.
Once you admit that you're interested, now you are no longer a boy. You are a
Yeah.
man.
Oh.
Anyway, so yeah, they're setting up the kiddie pool in the gym, and I just love this scene of Dustin and Lucas trying to figure out how to get the fucking sides to stand up on this thing. Oh, it's so, I don't know why, but it just made me laugh so much the first time I saw it. Every time, okay, do it real quick. Shit. Like,
Yeah, they try and like flap it out like it's a sheet,
so
like it just goes. No, oh, they're funny.
um
I
and
this Whoever plays Dustin, if he does not get work in like every single movie from now
right?
on, I will be so disappointed. He's so charming and adorable. I love it.
I hope that he doesn't grow into being a real weird looking teenager.
I have a feeling that like he's a weird enough looking kid that it might,
Even
it's
out.
like it's like with the kid who played Neville, where
Okay.
who started out being a goofy enough that with just like putting out things that made his ears stick out, they could make him look like a goofy kid like
Right.
Neville. And then by the time they get to the last movie, he is smoking hot.
Right.
Like, I mean, they dress him down for the movie,
They
but
give
in
him
real
they
life,
give him fake bad teeth also, which
yeah,
goes a
yeah,
long way.
that does go a long way. But oh my god, it was somewhere around like the fifth movie or something
Hmm.
where like he was at a premiere. I think it was for the fifth movie, so it must have been like right when he turned 18,
Hmm.
and he had this super hot girl with him. And well, I mean, not like super hot, but like hotter than Neville should
Hmm.
have. And he looked so good. And I was like, whoa, wait a second. What? And now he's doing like, you saw that picture where he did a whole magazine spread in his underpants?
Yep.
And, and Joe Rowling was like, put your pants back on Twitter. That was so good. She's like, Matthew Lewis, you get dressed right now, young man.
Oh,
He's
so
like,
great.
sorry, Joe. My God. Oh, it's adorable. But yeah, a lot of times the goofy ones grow up to look real good.
Well, it's kind of like because then there's like Haley Joe Osment, who
Oh,
grew up real weird, and he looked weird to begin with, but the weirdness just got accentuated.
his
You
face
know?
never grew. Like his head
Yeah.
grew, but his face stayed the same size. That's my issue. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like he's just got too much extra face space, like all around the periphery, and then just like a little teeny tiny
Like small
small
face
boy
from.
face in the middle.
I think in this very show I have referenced what's his name, Dick Tracy before, but yeah, Small
Yes.
Face is an actual character, and that is
Yes.
just it. Oh God. Um,
Uh,
yeah,
so
I've
there's
never stopped
being
to
mean
think
for
about
today.
how
I'm
many like
sorry, Haley Joel Osment. I'm
I never
sorry.
stopped to think about how many face-based names there are in Dick Tracy. There's
Oh
No
yeah,
Face, there's Small Face, there's Prune Face.
I
What's
love
the other
prune
one?
face.
I feel like there's
I
another
don't.
one.
I
Um,
just always love prune face because there's a joke on The Simpsons
mhm,
about prune face where so it's like little kid Ned Flanders and he's
right.
playing Dick Tracy. He goes, "I'm Dick Tracy. Take that, prune face." Now I'm Prune Tracy. Take that, and then stops before he says Dick face. And I didn't get it when it was first on. I was like, "Oh yeah, Prune face from Dick Tracy. That's funny." And it wasn't until like years later that I really paid attention. I'm like, "Oh, Ned was about to say Dick face."
That would have been funny.
Now I'm Prune Tracy. Anyway,
Um,
totally off topic.
yeah, But yeah,
But
I agree. He should get work. Um,
like when he puts the egg in the pool and it floats and he's so proud.
oh, it's so
It's so
cute.
cute.
Oh, there was one thing about with Nancy and Mike that we didn't mention, but I just really liked the fact that Nancy just has no qualms about breaking the fucking lock off of the
Oh yeah.
shed, and I love Mike watching her like shit. I guess you are cooler than I realized.
My
Like,
sister's a badass and I
yeah.
didn't realize it. I loved it. And I loved Nancy just, showing
Hmm.
some wherewithal, being like, I'll get a big rock.
Yep.
That'll do it. Good job,
Um,
Nancy.
so 11 gets they have like a pair of safety goggles that they've put masking tape over.
Right.
And they have her get into this tub, this giant kiddie
Right.
pool of salt water.
And first Joyce talks to her and tells her, like, you don't need to be scared. I'll be there with you. If you need us to pull you out, I'll pull you out. Like,
Hmm.
it's the sweetest,
The first
this
time that
girl's
she's
never
going
had
to
a
have done
mom.
this with
Yeah.
actual support, yeah.
Yes. To
Where
go into
whether she
it.
was scared was even a factor to consider.
Oh, yeah. Never before. So it's, 11 seems really kind of taken aback by the whole thing.
Hmm.
It's a little much for her. She's like, stop being lovey. I don't know how to process it. But it's so
Um,
sweet.
so immediately the lights flicker in the gym and go out.
Yeah.
And we have 11 in the, water world, as I call it in my head,
Hmm.
glass world. And she is alone at first, and then she sees something. Um, yeah, this one's super gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, she comes walking up, and it's Barb.
Covered in goop with something coming sliming out of her mouth.
Yep. It's super gross.
It's super gross and it's super traumatic for Elle,
Yeah. Um,
who immediately starts freaking out.
did you figure that Barb was dead?
Yeah, I knew Barb was dead.
Okay.
I thought there was no way Barb was coming back.
I
Because she got caught, you know.
mm-hmm.
We never see or hear Will actually getting caught. You know, the closest was that time when you sort of saw him in the wall,
Right.
and Joyce told him to run, but you don't hear him get caught by the monster.
Mm-hmm.
You see Barb get caught by the monster in the Upside Down.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's true.
It grabs her. You know, he has to get them on both sides, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he snatches Will from the right side up, but then
Mm-hmm.
on the upside down he doesn't have him,
Right.
and Will's able to get away. Whereas we see both sides with Barb, and so I knew Barb was toast.
Yeah, it seems like he's like this creature is able to. It's not like it lays hands on them so much as it just drags them back to its own dimension and then
Right.
has to catch them there.
Has to find it. Then has to be a predator on the
Yeah.
other side as well. Yeah.
So yeah, 11 starts flipping out. Joyce starts saying, "I'm here. It's okay. You're safe. I've got you. I'm right here." And she can hear her voice echoing. And she calms down and then sees Castle Byers. And it's the shadow version of Will's little fort in the woods. And she finds Will in there looking real pale and clammy. He just looks real bad.
Yeah.
And he's not moving either, you know, like he's on his side curled up like he doesn't have the energy to move.
Right.
And they can hear his voice through the radio.
Right.
And Joyce says, "Tell him that we're coming. We're coming for him. We're going to get him." And she tells Will, and Will just says, "Hurry." And all of a sudden, the whole thing disappears for her.
Yeah. It turns into mist.
Yep. And so she has to come back, and she's just, you know, really flipped out, obviously, because it's horrifying.
I didn't know how to process that when the whole thing just sort of dissipated
Right?
and vanished. I was like, where?
Yep.
No, where is it going? No. Come back, Will. You're so close. How do we get him out? How?
Right?
Oh, God.
And however they do decide that they're going to get him out, Joyce is going to be fucking involved. Because Hopper tries to leave without her. And she just... the contempt in her voice when she says, "He is my son. Are you kidding me?" Like,
Right.
no arguments brooked.
Yeah.
Jonathan wants to come also, but him she makes stay behind.
Right.
And
she's like, I can't put another one of my sons in danger. Yeah.
So he goes back inside to speak to Nancy, who is, you know, just really upset at because she was hoping she didn't see what we saw. She's hoping that Barb is okay in there.
She heard 11 was shouting, "Gone, gone, gone, gone."
Yeah,
right?
gone. She said, "Gone, dead."
Yeah. And then just starts screaming.
Nancy just like puts a hand over her mouth, like she's trying really hard not to start crying immediately.
Yeah.
So Jonathan's like, "What do you want to do?" And she says, "I want to fucking kill it." Mm-hmm. And then guitar.
Doesn't she say we're gonna finish what we started?
Yep. And then she has a fucking. She's got 2 guns strapped to her back and a scimitar.
Right. Off to battle.
So we go to Joyce and Hopper, who she's like, "Don't you think that maybe this isn't the way we should do this? Because they're basically going to go in the exact way that he went in when he broke through."
Right.
And unsurprisingly, the power company is prepared for this. And they are immediately
He's like, "It worked
caught.
before." And she's like, "Did it?" Really?
That's a fair question. So yeah, they get caught and they're being arrested, and we go directly from them getting caught to Will shivering and clammy and sick looking in his little castle, and he hears the monster pacing around the outside, and then
Ugh.
it lets out a screech and comes through the wall of the fort, and that's where the episode ends.
Right. The whole fort basically like
Yep.
explodes. Like it blows apart. And I was like, what? No. No. Unacceptable. So mean. I'm mad that I even have to like get in my car and drive and pick up my children and not be able to like get off of this phone call and immediately go watch the next episode now. I'm
Right?
like, oh, it's going to take me like 45 minutes before I'm able to actually watch this thing now. God damn it. Yeah, that's the meanest cliffhanger ever.
Yep. What do you
But
think happens?
I have no idea. What happens to Will, do you
Yeah.
mean? I don't know. The whole time, the question of Will just sort of hanging in the background. I'm shocked even that he is still alive in whatever state he's in. And I don't know. That doesn't bode well.
Right?
Like, I feel like at this point, they've gotten him so far, they have to get him back somehow, but I don't understand how, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, you can't get through 7 episodes and be like, well, he's dead now. I'm like, no. The whole point
This is written by
is
George R. R. Martin. Did I not mention that?
right, exactly. And now he's dead. Maybe he'll come back as Lady Stoneheart.
Yes. Yes, please.
We've needed a Lady Stoneheart on our television screens for a few seasons now. Let's make Will Lady Stoneheart. Anyway, yeah, I got nothing. I don't expect that Nancy and Jonathan's plan is strategically sound, whatever it is. So I don't think that's going to go real well.
Right?
And then, yeah, and the boys in 11, I don't know. I don't know how they're going to keep her safe. I'm worried. Now they're alone with her again. So,
Yeah.
I mean, she can obviously protect herself to a certain degree, but at the same time,
If she keeps flipping vans over.
right. But so it's like they have to keep her hidden, but she has to keep them safe. And they explain in this episode that she does run out of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Like she can't just keep going
Yeah.
forever and ever. She needs to recharge.
Yep.
And I like that Mike picks up on that because she never says that.
No,
But
Mike
he's the
was very sensitive to people being hungry for food. So,
yeah.
yeah.
We need to get her some Pringles. But yeah, he's like, she can't just keep going. She just flipped a van.
Right?
She needs a break.
She flipped a van. She traveled to another dimension twice.
Yeah.
Kind of.
She made me fly.
Right?
She's been working real hard in the last 24 hours. She really needs a break. And that makes me think, like, she may not be as useful.
And I
as
always
far.
like that when there's a limit on somebody's powers, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. You can't have somebody who's just completely unbeatable. That's no fun.
Right. Not that, Magneto is the example that I always think of somebody that's almost impossible to win against. Because he just has such a variety of ways that he can use his crazy-ass power.
Right.
But I just always appreciate there being a distinct, like force that they cannot control that will step in and put a stop to occasionally their abilities sometimes.
Right.
So that is the end of that episode. Well, shit. Guys, let me know if you're interested in this, but Maggie and I were considering hosting the final episode, which we're going to be recording Friday morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. We were considering doing it live. I don't know if anybody is interested in coming to something like that at that time of day. I know there are people in other zip codes time zones,
But also zip
but also
codes.
zip codes. Um, but I'm not sure if people who are in totally different time zones, like in Europe, if this show has aired on like,
Oh
British
yeah.
Netflix.
I don't know if Netflix in England has it. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm not sure. Let me know, you guys, if you would be able to come, and whether, or else I won't bother, because doing it live is a little bit more work, and plus I'm gonna have to not be wearing a bathrobe like I am right now. So it's more effort
Y'all have
on
to
my
like
part. Yeah.
shower,
I
all
don't,
that
well,
stuff.
Maggie, I don't know about that.
Okay, well,
I'm not going to
fine.
be that ambitious. Wearing clothing is about as high a goal as I'm going to set for myself
All
on
right,
that
all
front.
right.
Um, but yeah, so let me know, guys. You have one day to get back to me on that and tell me whether you'd be interested. Um, is there anything you wanted to add?
Nope. I think that's it. I'm really excited. You're going to be
Woo!
getting a bunch of messages this afternoon. I bet anything.
The finale
Because I'm
episode
watching
is
it.
seriously like probably one of the best season finales of any show I've ever seen. And I know
Oh,
I'm
okay.
probably building it up too much, but I just fucking loved it. And there are certainly parts where I'm like, I would have liked if they did a little bit more here and there. But mostly it's like just so well, it's
It's really
really well
satisfying.
done. Yeah. So, all right. Yeah. Well, I will let you.